Hello guys, this is TradingWisely and I'm back with another video, and in this video I want to explain how one can achieve a leverage of over 100x. Now BitMEX and Deribit are two popular cryptocurrency trading platforms that allow people to trade cryptocurrencies, mainly Bitcoin, with up to 100x leverage. But the fact of the matter is you can actually achieve a lot more, and I will show you how to do that. Now the thing is, it all comes down to the math. So as you can see here in the top right corner, I have the equation, which is leverage equals to 100 divided by margin percentage. Now that's the formula for calculating your leverage. So even though on BitMEX you have a slider that shows from cross leverage all the way up to 100%, the fact of the matter is you can achieve a lot more depending on your stop placement and your entry. Now what you need to do is basically find out what you need right here is to find out how much margin percentage that you want to risk per account. Now obviously in this situation, the bigger your margin, the more leverage you can use. Or another better way of saying is the bigger your margin, your total account size, the more returns you can actually achieve with a smaller risk on your account. So for instance, a $10,000 account, if it were to risk 1% of its account per trade, it would be risking $100. Now in that sense, if it had let's say a trade that when it comes to fruition would give you an RR of 1 to 2, whereby you're risking 1 and you're achieving 2. So if he's risking 100, so his profit would be 200 on a $10,000 account risking 1%. But if a $100 account were to do the same with the same risk profile of 1%, he would be risking $1 and then he would achieve $2. So as you can see, the more money you have in your total account as a margin balance, the more you would actually be able to take advantage of this strategy. But getting back to the strategy at hand, basically leverage equals to 100 over margin percentage. So what you need to do before you even enter the trade is decide how much margin you are willing to risk. Once you've got that figured out, what you need to do is, obviously as a trader, what you can control is when to enter a trade and how much you're willing to risk. So what a lot of traders do is they just enter the trade and then they use the liquidation price and bankruptcy and then just hope that the trade goes in their favor, and if it doesn't, it goes all the way and hits the liquidation price. And this is actually very, very wrong. As a trader, you should have an invalidation level. An invalidation level is basically a point where if the trade goes against you and reaches that level, that invalidates your trade idea, basically saying that what you thought was going to happen is probably not going to happen, and so maybe you should exit at this point and then look for another setup. So this is where we can take advantage of the liquidation price and then increase your leverage. So as you can see here, I've already drawn it out because I didn't want to waste any time. As you can see, this is basically where you would, like, let's say we're taking a short position, for example. This would be your entry right here at this point. This would be your stop loss, and this would be your liquidation price. Now if you've already been familiar with BitMEX and Deribit, which are exchanges that allow people to trade crypto or Bitcoin, you would know as soon as you enter the trade, one of the most important things for you to really take note of is the liquidation price. And the liquidation price basically is the point at which, if the trade goes against you to that point, then your whole collateral that you put up for that trade would be extinguished, and the broker, the dealer, will basically take it all and you'd lose your whole capital. So but what happens is, you're not supposed to actually rely on that liquidation price. You should have your own preset stop loss in mind even before entering the trade. So a lot of the time you don't actually need, your price does not need to reach the liquidation price. It just needs to reach a level way before the liquidation price for that, and then you should be out of the trade as soon as the trade reaches that point. That's your invalidation point. So as you can see, there's some margin left that is unused here, or is supposed to be unused if you are following the proper risk profile strategies. So this margin, unused margin, what you do is you utilize this margin and then bring it back into your actual trade entry, So by that means you will actually be able to utilize a larger leverage. I know I'm not sure if I'm actually explaining this properly and you people are understanding, but basically there is unspent margin here, unused margin here, unused energy that you can utilize and add to your position and ensure you actually have you can either use that and have a bigger position size, or you could use that to risk less. And by risking less, which means you are having a smaller percentage, and by having a smaller margin percentage means you have a greater leverage. It's all about the math, like I told you. Follow the equation. Leverage equals to 100 over margin percentage. Now let's, for example, $10,000. Let's say you were going to risk 10% of your account. You have $10,000 in your whole account. You're going to risk 10% for this particular trade to go short. 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. That means you would be risking $1,000, right? You enter right here, and BitMEX or Deribit, whichever one you're using, automatically will calculate your liquidation price and will set it there. Stop loss is up to you. You want to use a stop loss, you don't want to use a stop loss, but in this case we want to use a stop loss. Why? Because we want to know the difference between the stop loss. We want to utilize this unspent energy. So if you have your invalidation price, depending on market structure, support and resistance, maybe you find a nice place that you want to place your stop loss, then you calculate that. That's what you do. And then once you have that, then what happens is basically you reduce the risk profile. So if you were risking from here, from your entry all the way to liquidation price, you are risking 10%. By putting your stop loss here, which means you have probably, let's say we move it down here just for visual, just visually, for it to look a bit more uniform. Let's say you put your stop loss right here. As you can see, we have effectively halved our risk profile. So if from here to here would be risking 10%, by putting your stop loss right here, that means now you are risking approximately 5%. So if you're risking 5% with the same position size, if we enter the calculations over here, leverage equals 100 over margin percentage. Before we were risking 10%. 100 over 10 would be 100 over 10. If you do that simple math, that's 10. That means you're using 10x leverage. 10x leverage is right because you are risking 1,000. 1,000 times 10 equals 10,000. So you are risking 1,000, which is 10x leverage. But by reducing by eliminating the liquidation price and putting your stop loss right here, and by reducing the risk amount from 10% to 5%, now the leverage would automatically change. So it would be 100 over 5, and if you calculate that, now your leverage has suddenly increased to 20. Leverage equals 20. So before, with the same position size, all you changed was adding a stop loss, and now automatically you have doubled your leverage from 10 to 20. Now you can see how powerful this is, right? Now this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now obviously if you were using 100x leverage before, all you need to do is reduce your risk by modifying your stop loss, ensuring your stop loss is placed at a position that is the same invalidation position that would basically coincide with the point in the price where, if price reached that place, your trade would have been invalidated basically. So it's really all about using stop loss. I hope I have described the concept clearly. I will probably make another video later on, maybe with charts, just to have a better visual representation, but I just wanted to take you through the maths of the matter. Thank you very much. I have in case you don't know about Deribit or BitMEX, I have links down below where you can sign up for free. I would appreciate it very much, because I also get affiliate and an affiliate link, and then you would also get 10% off fees. So go ahead and sign up. Deribit or BitMEX, they both offer 100x leverage, but like if you use what I just told you, you can achieve a lot more than 100x leverage. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.